A guest who is not here this morning. So we'll have open phones, 989-752-6111, whatever you'd like to chat about. I was made aware of something a few minutes ago from a friend of mine, John, who texted me. And his question was, what were the Republicans thinking when they cut in their proposed budget the MSP budget, Michigan State Police budget? At first, I wasn't aware of it until I had to research it and look, and then I found it. And I don't have the answer. I don't know why they would do that, although it expresses it here. I'm going to read this. This is from a Free Press article this morning. GOP state budget plan includes billions in cuts. Here's what gets axed. And right on the top here, the House plan includes a net cut of more than $105 million from Whitmer's proposal for the Michigan State Police, which a House Fiscal Agency analysis said would equate to about 433 fewer full-time positions. The cuts include a $40 million reduction to MSP post operations around the state, $34 million in identified savings from moving the Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards, which has responsibility for training police officers. They want to move that to the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs. $12.1 million reduction for eliminating the MSP's Professional Development Bureau, which oversees training and professional development. And according to State Representative Mike Mueller, a Republican of Linden, he said the cuts partly reflect Republican unhappiness with MSP leadership under Colonel James Grady. Okay. Normally, as you know, I favor the right. Not denying that. But when I see something that I think is incorrect, I don't care who does it, I'm going to say something. This is ludicrous. Just because you don't like the guy leading the MSP, well, try and do something about that. But don't hurt the people of the state of Michigan, their safety and protection, by taking away money from the one organization that is the leader in the state. And we have lots of fine police departments in this state, don't get me wrong. But MSP has attributes other departments don't have. Training other departments don't have. They train other departments. And instead of hurting the men and the women of the department because you don't like their leader, and hurting the people of the state of Michigan, I don't understand it. I'm sorry, Republicans, but I do not understand it. You're gutting the most formidable police agency we have in the state of Michigan. And MCOLS, which is the Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards, they have the responsibility of training police officers, setting up the standards by which police are trained. Going to move them to the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs? Why? And then you're going to get rid of the Professional Development Bureau of MSP, which oversees training and development of their own officers? It makes no sense. And $40 million reduction in post spending. They're gutting it. And it makes no sense. I hope whenever the Democrats in the Senate put forward their budget proposal and the two sides sit down, more reasonable heads will come to the conclusion that cutting that part of the budget is not a good thing. You know, I hear Republicans all the time screaming about blue states and blue cities that defund police and how wrong it is. And here they turn around and try and do the same thing. it boggles my mind. Now, understand where I come from. I'm a strong supporter of law enforcement, and I participate in the Saginaw County Sheriff's Department. So I understand it. I came from a law enforcement family. My dad, as many of you know if you've listened, he was a federal agent. He was a special agent in Treasury. He was in the intelligence unit, which became the Criminal Investigative Division. So I have been around law enforcement all my life. I have the greatest respect and admiration for people who put on the uniform and go out every day to protect us. Yeah, there's a few bad apples. They're the ones that make the news. You hear about them all the time. But they're few and far between when you think of the tens of thousands who put on that uniform every day. So I'm a strong supporter of law enforcement. And I would offer a strong objection to a House budget which cuts $105 million from the Michigan State Police. I don't understand it. And I'm pretty sure that my friends in law enforcement are scratching their heads about it. So Republicans, when it comes time to sit down, put aside your dislike of Lieutenant Grady, Colonel Grady, I should say, and do what's right for the people of Michigan. I mean, it just irks me when I see either side play politics because of the dislike of one individual and the way they perform. Now, I'm not a fan of Colonel Brady. I think there's been some shenanigans and all of that, but go after them. Don't go after the men and women who put on that blue uniform every day to serve and protect us. Go after the ones that you think are screwing things up. But no, in the world of politics, money talks. So that's what they use as the weapon. It's too bad because it hurts all of us. All right, I will yield. Lines are open for you, 989-752-6111. Join us here on the Art Lewis Show for this Thursday already. You realize that it's a Thursday? It's 28th of August? Wow. I'm hungry. Good time to talk about Krizak's House. Krizak's House Family Restaurant, best place to go for your authentic home-cooked foods with a European flair at reasonable prices. Now's the time to think about getting together with friends and family for lunch or dinner, as well as events coming up soon, like graduations and confirmations, weddings, showers, anniversaries. Krizak's has an economical way for you to supply the food. You can order what you want in Polish and American foods and just pick it up at the restaurant, ready to go. Or, better yet, have your celebration right there. Don't forget, at a moment's notice, Krizak's can help. Give them a call at 989-894-5531. Krizak's House Family Restaurant, corner of Cass and Michigan, on Bay City's south side.
This is a test of the emergency.
And open phones for the remainder of the hour. And let's go to them this morning, and we'll say hi to Mark in Mount Pleasant. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you, sir?
Good.
Hey, in Minnesota, they had a shooting yesterday that unfortunately the victim had, or the shooter had 3 guns. Seemed like he was in his early 20s, maybe in his teens, I'm not sure. My concern is they talk about gun control, so why don't they have at a certain age you can only have 1 gun at a time? If you need another one, you have to turn in the one you purchased in order to purchase another one, so that they only have until a certain age, whatever that to be determined, they can have more than 1 gun. I'm not saying that is going to end all, but it is a preventable as far as the shots being fired potentially out of 1 gun as opposed to multiple guns.
Probably wouldn't have changed anything yesterday. He just would have used 1. He had 3, and supposedly they were all purchased legally, from what I read. But
yeah,
I limiting him to 1 gun after afterwards is always, hindsight is 20/20. Limiting him to 1 gun. Limiting him to 1 gun probably would not have stopped him from doing it.
Correct, but it would maybe perk up on a radar if you're using your driver's license to submit paperwork to get another gun as to your 18, 19, or whatever age under 20. Why are you purchasing more than 1 gun? And you would have to explain that potentially.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is even if there was a law like that and he bought 1 gun, it turned out that's 1 gun too many for him.
No, I agree. It seems like in his background he was going through a transition of puberty
had problems
and medications like that.
Here's the issue. Here's the issue.
Okay.
How do we prevent those with substantial mental illness, let's call it that way, from obtaining a gun? Because when you fill out the form to purchase, it simply asks you if you are under the care for mental health issues and things of that nature. If you say no, that's it. You lied, but doesn't matter, because HIPAA laws don't let them get that information.
Well, isn't it currently right now, if you are bipolar and taken under a doctor's care, those type of medications, you're not allowed to have or own a gun at this time?
Well, yeah, but how do you stop somebody because they fill out the form and they say no?
All right. So with that being said, people that are going through transition from a boy to a girl to a boy, or take puberty blockers. Those medications I heard were not prescribed or not meant to stop a teenager from going through puberty. It was meant for something else as far as cancer drugs or what have you. So if there's no studies, because this is pretty new with those medications, if there's no studies out there as far as the harm it can cause to a child, shouldn't there be studies on that? And if so,
maybe studies, yeah, but
if they're taking those body-altering medications like you do with a bipolar person, wouldn't that be on the same list as well?
I don't know. Don't know enough about them.
Yeah, it should be looked into, because this is like the second, third shooting this year under that. So there might be something going on with those drugs that are being put into children.
Might be a lot of things, but I don't know what it is. So, but yeah, studies I would agree with. Okay. All right. Good enough.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
And let's talk to Carl in Saginaw. Carl, good morning.
Good morning, Art. Can you believe it's almost Labor Day weekend?
No.
Well, have a good weekend.
Thank you. I will. I'm off all weekend. Yay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Good. You were talking about in Michigan, where the Republicans, want to cut the budget for the state police. In Washington, D.C., the Republican Congress there cut the budget for the city of Washington. And so they had to lay off a bunch of police officers. And I think it would make more sense to restore that funding and have the city hire police officers rather than have National Guard troops standing on the corners. You know, the police are trained for this kind of thing. The National Guard are not. So,
well, you're not going to get any argument out of me. I don't like to see police defunded or funding reduced in any regard. Now, I'll put a caveat on that. There have been departments that are poorly run that need restructuring and need to be looked at. And in those cases, you know, maybe it makes sense to withhold funding until things are straightened out. But for the most part, 99% of the time, I am against defunding police.
Right. Well, you said a minute ago, well, then go after the leadership. Don't cut funding for the whole department. If you think the leadership is going in the wrong direction.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah. Well, I think the National Guard in the Capitol, and Trump is threatening to do it in other cities too. You know,
he'll have more trouble in other cities. He'll have more trouble in other cities. In Washington, he has the authority to do it. In other cities, it might be tougher.
Yeah, but it's almost like he wants a fight. He wants it to be, he wants confrontation. And then he can point to the confrontation and say, see, that's why we need the troops there.
No, I don't look at it that way.
Well, it just seems like, he's firing, this director, and he's firing this governor, and he's firing this person. It's just his finger is everywhere right now. He's telling, universities, how they should run, law firms, how they should be run. He's telling businesses he wants, like Intel, he wants 10% of their profits from what they send to China, chips they send to China. Have you ever heard of that before? The government getting, a cut of a private business, doing business under capitalism?
It's called taxes and tariffs. I've heard about it a lot, but not quite the way you're describing it. But yeah, we get a cut of business all the time, don't we?
Yeah, but not like this.
Well, all right.
Not like the way Trump is talking about, Intel selling chips to China, but we get 10% back or something like that, and we have controlling interest in U.S. Steel. The government tell U.S. Steel, what to do and what not to do. That's not really free enterprise.
All right. Got to run here. I got to take a break. Gotcha, though.
Okay, thanks.
Art. Take care. Bye-bye now. We'll be back. We'll get to Gene next.
Going on vacation? Go to
And welcome back to the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. Gene is in Saginaw Township. Gene, good morning.
Good morning, Art. I got to thinking this morning, after all of these years of knowing you, I've never asked you, how did a guy from the Bronx get to be a newscaster in Saginaw, Michigan?
Well, the story goes that my late wife and I did not want to raise the kids in the New York area. This was in 73. And I literally, Gene, took out a Rand McNally map, closed my eyes, and put my finger down, and it landed on Saginaw. So I had certain conditions of what I wanted in a marketplace, and many of them did not revolve necessarily around broadcasting. They revolved around industry, because I was not only broadcasting in New Jersey, where I was working at the time, but I was freelancing in New York doing industrial work. So I wanted a place that had industry, and I looked it up, and here was Steering Gear and General Motors and Dow Chemical and Dow Corning. I figured there's got to be some work there for me. So I applied to WSGW. It was the first place I applied. They flew me out. We talked. They hired me, and the next thing I knew, we were moving to Saginaw.
Oh, I see.
That's how it happened.
Interesting story, yeah.
That's how it happened, and then I don't know if you'll remember how I met you, but it was at Channel 25. I was moderating a panel between doctors and lawyers about malpractice. Yep.
Yeah.
And you were on the panel for the lawyers, and that's how we met many years ago.
I guess that's right, yeah. Well, I'm glad you got here, and I'm glad you're still here.
Well, I'm glad I'm still able to do it, and the one thing, Gene, I've just for listeners, I've known Gene for 40 more years, and his lovely wife, Yoko. And it's the people of this area that's attracted us and kept us here. And
they're good people. Yeah,
good people all across the board. And, it's just been it's been a joy. That's why we're still here. I've been here for the better part of the years since 1974. So that's 51 years. Better part of that with a slight absence for a year, but here we are.
Well, we're glad you're here, and I wanted to tell you that Yoko and I, in a few days, will be moving into assisted living, but we'll still keep listening to you.
Well, good. We'll still have to find time for dinner. I'll pick you up.
Okay.
Send me a notice to where it is and all that stuff. I've gotten some of your other notes, so.
Okay.
Good.
I'll do that, Art.
Thanks.
Take care.
All right. Take
Love
care,
you.
Gene. Bye-bye now. And let's go up to Bay City and talk to Sean. Morning, Sean.
Hey, good morning, Art. Hey, just a couple things here so we can straighten this out and use our heads. Christians are always being attacked. They're the most attacked that there is. And we should make mental institutions great again. No, we're not perfect, but what is? And we can do our jobs to do that because that person was seriously messed up. And it's a trend of certain individuals. If you actually do some research, it's an actual trend. There's a trend line, and it will continue. Second of all, I watched hours of interviews from people that live in Washington, D.C. I try and do my homework. And these are all people of all different colors, and they can go outside. There's been no murders. Their cars aren't getting hijacked.
Yeah.
All that stuff. These are good things. Is it good for when people from other countries come to our capital city that, it's not a complete crap hole? Yeah, that's good. Is it good people aren't dying? Yes. And the National Guard are doing exactly what the National Guard, which is why they're called the National Guard, are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, McFlies. So all you people out there, and I didn't know Trump could fire governors. That's a new one for me. But
he can't.
Carl, the stuff that just comes out of the mouth. It's just.
He wasn't talking about governors. He was talking about cabinet officials and people like that.
I understand that it was a slip, but his slips are again a trend of rubbish. But understand that people are dying all over the place. Chicago is an absolute crap hole. Baltimore, very unsafe. It's spreading to all our local stuff. You can see it. It's a trend. We got to stop this. And when local police departments, like the Washington, D.C., they redo what the crimes are. They recategorize them all, right, to make it look like stuff's going down, but it ain't. It's going up. That's why Trump came in, and a lot of this funding cuttage, it's not necessarily, right, I'm all about funding the police, dude. I totally agree with you. However, there's a lot of money that goes to the most stupidest programs and stupid things that it does. It's in everything.
That's true across the board. That's true across the board in government.
Yes, exactly. So I think that's what we're more going after with these cuts. than anything else. But yeah,
Good enough.
And here's the deal: to make more laws on guns, criminals don't obey laws, any of them. The only thing more laws do is take away everybody's freedom. Get that through your heads, people. And taxes are theft. Period.
All right. Good enough, Sean.
Have a good one, Art.
You too. Bye-bye now. And let's talk to Al before we take a break here. Al, good morning.
Morning, Arthur.
Morning.
I've just wondered, reading in the Detroit Free Press, how many Democrats are backing Mike Duggan for governor. Is there any chance we could get him on your show?
Yeah, I've told you we're going to get him on eventually. It's up to him. We put the word out now. It's up to him. We can't force him to come in here, but we will hope to get him, and I'm sure we will at some point in time.
So you expect him on in the future?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
We're working on it.
Right.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. 1046. Lines open, 989-752-6111. Take a break. Be back with more.
Lehman's Green Apple Barn.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, and Mike is in Thomas Township. Mike, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Art. I heard on a news report yesterday that every major city that has high crime rate is run by a Democratic mayor, and most of them are Democratic governors too. And yet the people don't want to have any interference with upholding the law in their cities. Well, the people do. I mean, the management doesn't want any help, and it just, to me, doesn't make sense. Why they're doubling down on having crime and criminals, and yet they, it can't be good for their economy because people won't come to visit cities. I mean, I want to go visit cousins in New York. I wouldn't go there on a bet right now.
Oh, I would.
Well, he told me.
Where are you?
I talked to him last week, and he said that with the election coming up, only about 13 to 16% of the people vote in New York, and they're almost all, these young people that socialists, that want everything for free. So that's one of the problems. But he said that it's hard to go downtown and go to some of the places that you'd like to visit because there a lot of shooting up on the streets, with drugs and like Times Square. You don't even go to Times Square. I haven't been to Times Square in probably 50
Times
years.
Square is one of the biggest tourist attractions in New York, and thousands of people go there and sit at the tables. The one avenue's closed. Times Square, and there's a police presence there. Why wouldn't you go to Times Square?
Well, I don't know. I haven't been there, but I
haven't heard any stories of anybody getting shot up in Times Square at all.
Okay, but the rest of the city, I mean, there's other places you'd like to go and see. I loved Top of the Flame. That was one of the best restaurants I ever ate in.
So you wouldn't go there either? Why not?
I would try to. Well, I would probably try because that's probably fairly safe, but it's kind of expensive.
Look,
and
here's the deal.
I ordered.
Here's the deal, Mike. Yes, there's crime in New York. We all hear about it.
Yeah.
But millions of people every day move about that city perfectly safe. They ride the subways. They go to work. Tourists come in and do the attractions. Now, Is there a risk that something might happen? Yeah, and something could happen if you walk out your door today and